I would say that I lost my business because of the complaining and not because of COVID or post pandemic challenges as an opportunity for growth. When things happen, it doesn't necessarily mean that the world is ending and like you're never going to find a solution. Hello and welcome. We are going to talk about something that we need to leave behind. We're not taking this into the new year. The reason I wanted to share is because every single end of year, I do a whole reset. I actually have it right here. I go over my values, I go over my income, I go over everything I want to in 2020. I started this and it was one sheet. We just went over my income, what I needed to improve. I had the absolute best financial year and I honestly wasn't ready for the leadership that came with that income, if that makes sense. So for those of you who don't know, I have a network marketing business that I started and I made a lot of money in 2020. Like money that I just didn't understand how to handle it. You know how they say that money just makes you a bigger version of what you are inside, whether that's for good or for evil. It just really enhances you. I wasn't ready to be enhanced as a leader. On network marketing, your success is heavily reliant on helping other people win. The one specifically that I am partnered up with, you have to help other people get to the next level. And I love that. I feel like that keeps us continuing to want to get better. A lot of people were winning in 2020. 2021 came around. We made a better version. We started, cleaning up our systems. The leadership training was a little bit better. I actually was able to train with John Maxwell. I have my little 2 certificates right there. So it was going like we were doing great. I'm getting hot. I'm going to start sweating in a moment. So in 2020, when things started declining, I started doing this one thing that I believe and I can see now completely destroyed my business. And I would say it was complaining. And that's exactly what we're going to talk about because it's so toxic. Like, if that's you right now, I'm going to tell you that it's time for a rebrand, a reset, business reset, however you want to call it. It's time to let that go. And you might not know you're doing it. So let me tell you how I see it now and how my business completely crumbled and what I'm doing now to not only rebuild it, but completely restructure everything. Fast forward to 2021, things are not as high as far as income. The team is still there. We're still going. Somewhat of negative thoughts started creeping in. Also, the environment I was in, and I'll talk about a few tips on that. But the environment I was in was heavily emotional and gossipy. So that also didn't help. And I was obviously contributing to that too, because I was in that environment. So crazy. I always hear Ed Milet talk about that, how like your environment is everything. And this is not new things. It's not new that your associations completely can make or break you. But fast forward to 2022, okay? I'm trying to recover. I'm still, partying, drinking, having a lot of fun, but my income is still decreasing at this point. In February of 2022, I decided to start my YouTube channel and it seemed like I stopped my business and I didn't. I just needed to step back and this was my excuse. I just needed to step back because nobody wanted to work anymore. That was my main thought. That was my complaint to my husband all the time. And I was like, nobody wants to do this. Nobody wants to work. I'm just going to do what I want to do. And in that moment, I wanted to do YouTube. So I launched my channel in 22. It was something that I absolutely wanted to do. That YouTube channel completely just changed the way that I do things, period. The way that I do content. I decided to started focusing on TikTok. And then I started thinking about my membership and my courses. And I pretty much revamped everything on that side. Still, not really investing time in my network marketing business. I was still complaining about it. Okay. I was still complaining about how people don't want to do things. Nobody wants to buy. Nobody wants to sign up with me. Nobody X, Y, Z, all of these negative things. It wasn't until last November, 2022, when one of my friends and mentors, her name is Sarah, and she was just like, okay, so like, what do you even do? Like, do you even still do this business? And that kind of like made me realize that all of this complaining was just in my brain. I wasn't even really working. I was still making money from all of the things that I did in 19, 20, 21. But the complaining was so crazy. And even though I didn't verbally say it out loud or in social media and all of that stuff, it was all right here and to my husband and like close friends. How did I just stop that complaining and completely change the way that I was doing business? Well, that was the first conversation. Aside from that, I needed to change my environment. Not only did I need to change my environment, I needed to change my own mindset as well as really take a look at just gratitude in general, the opportunities that I was opened because of me saying yes to this network marketing business is like unmatched. So I wanted to talk to you about a few things that I started doing. And it's been about 18 months and I feel in such a better space. I love where my business is going. It continues to grow. I love pretty much all the changes that I've been able to make and the changes that my girls, the ones that have stayed with me long term, continue to grow their business alongside me, like what we've been doing too. So let's get into a few ways that you can stop complaining so you can change your life and even your business, depending on where you are in your creator, online business, digital journey. Number one is practicing gratitude. So I had to get this little journal because I just could not see any type of goodness, like to be honest. Like I didn't see anything that was happening and I was pretty inconsistent, but I was trying something. This is the gratitude journal. It's literally just the gratitude journal. I got it on Amazon and just really trying to focus on what I was going to be thankful for. Even if it seemed like nothing was going well, it just put me in a better headspace in the morning. So the very first thing I would do is wake up, take my supplements, get my water, all of my stuff, get my coffee, and then just sit down and take some time to write a few things. And this is so simple. Like it's not anything crazy. It says, what am I grateful for? What would make today great? And my daily affirmations, which leads me to number two, shifting that mindset to a more positive mindset. I know that sounds super cliche. You're like, okay, you're so annoying with your positive mindset. And I know that sometimes your circumstance or something that is happening in your mind or your life or something internal, it doesn't feel like you want to be positive. Like, dude, let's be honest. Nothing is happening good right now. And that's where affirmations came in for me. So I researched a few affirmations that made sense. I didn't want it to be woo-woo, whatever that means for you, but I really needed to believe that I can do this again. Okay. I needed to believe that we were going to get out of always being on a budget. I didn't want to constantly on a budget. P.S. My husband was going through a lawsuit at that time too. So that definitely didn't help. And my child had speech delay. Like it was just a lot at the time. So what I did was after I did my gratitude, I would read my affirmations. So a few of the affirmations that I literally wrote out and I would read every single morning was, I am a paid speaker. I am a reliable and valuable leader. I am a healthy entrepreneur who is living life on my own terms. I have a successful coaching and course business that brings in $1 million a year. I have a successful Monate business that brings $500,000 a year. So just things like that. Like I even wrote out how much money I wanted to make every single month. And at the time, I literally needed everything. Like I needed a new computer, a new camera, I knew all of that stuff. So I would say $50,000 a month would be a new camera. $50,000 a month is not hard. $50,000 a month means freedom. $50,000 a month means no more credit card debt. And $50,000 a month means monthly vacations and luxury gyms. At the time, I really wanted to pay like the Equinox and all of that stuff. So anyway, that shifting my mindset to a more positive state, although it may seem funny and it may seem like, okay, that doesn't really mean anything, it made a huge difference for me to start molding my brain like, it's not that bad. It really isn't that hard. And I do want to tell you this one thing that although I'm not at $50,000 a month yet, we did book our vacation and we're going in 2 weeks. We have no more credit card debt as this month we completely paid off. And it was like 5-figure debt. Okay. Also, I don't have a luxury gym membership, but they're actually opening. Isn't that so crazy? Like, what are the odds? This was before I even knew, but they actually are opening a luxury gym up the street and it's like decked out. I'm talking like bar, pool, like it is amazing. It's beautiful. And I'll keep you posted, okay? Keep me accountable. I really do think that I need that membership just because I wrote it on here. But it just feels like all of these things pretty much are coming true. I am a paid speaker. I got paid to speak virtually. And that was something I didn't even know that I wanted to do this soon, but I did anyway. So let me give you the next tip. Number 3 is taking responsibility for your own actions instead of blaming others, just saying that we made the mistake. I'm going to give you an example. One example, I was attempting to do a show/podcast, and I was going to do it with somebody, and I really wanted them to do it with me. I considered them my friend. I vision both of us together. Like, it'll be super fun. We could joke, we could have fun, all of that stuff. And it didn't work out. And for a really long time, I was blaming this person that I couldn't get my show out. But it wasn't honestly her fault. It was actually my fault because I put my entire expectation on this person when in reality, it didn't matter. I should have been better prepared with a backup plan or better communication or whatever the case may be. But I put myself into that situation. Another example that you might find relatable is, let's say your credit card overdrafted or whatever, like it got declined or your bank got overdrafted. Whose fault is that? Because you can moan and groan and, complain about that. But is it the bank's fault that you're complaining about, oh my God, I'm overdrafted or they took the bill went through, whatever the case may be? Or is it you? Is it your habits, your communication? Like, how many times are you going to Starbucks? All of these factors you can take into your life. Like, sometimes we just need to be accountable. I have a whole video on self-accountability that I will be tagging below, but let's stop blaming other people because a lot of the times we have to take responsibility for ourselves. Number 4 is practicing mindfulness and really becoming more aware of our thoughts, our emotions. And this is something that I wouldn't say I'm not a master at yet, but I've definitely been able to just manage my emotions better and be less emotional and reactive. This is something that my husband and I did not do when we first got married. I did the opposite. I would just say nothing and just assume that he read my mind. Like, how would you not read my mind? You're my husband. You're supposed to know what I'm thinking all the time. So cold shoulder to the max, like my reactiveness was that, like, okay, no talking. I'm just going to ignore you. He literally had no idea, no clue. So I would just have all of this resentfulness. I think when my daughter was born 4 years ago, she really brought out this vocal emotional side, and that wasn't amazing either because now I'm just like super reactively emotional versus managing your emotions. When you're aware of what you're feeling, when you're aware, like right now I'm upset, right now I'm overwhelmed, right now I'm angry, you will be able to take a moment and see what is it that I need? Why am I reacting this way? And one thing that has helped not just myself, but my husband is just really taking a moment, feel whatever that feeling is. We do work from home, and a lot of the times our daughter is here. When we understand, like, okay, this is too much for me, it's overwhelming, I just take a moment. Like, even if it's just like, just relax. And then I address internally what is going on. Think about it like the emotion movie. What's that emotion? The Disney emotion movie? The anger guy is like super extremely angry. We don't want to be like that. We need to analyze the emotions. Which one is it that is being triggered right now? And what can we do to manage our emotions? It doesn't mean that you're not going to feel stuff. It just means that we're not going to be super emotional and reactive. That's what it means. Number 5 is cultivating a growth mindset. That comes with seeing challenges as an opportunity for growth. Now, it goes back to managing your emotions. Every single one is intertwined, by the way. But when things happen, it doesn't necessarily mean that the world is ending and like you're never going to find a solution. A lot of the times we need to get better. Going back to the example of I thought that my business was crumbling and nobody wanted to buy and XYZ, this, that. The opportunity for growth was in my systems. It was in my communication. It was in my boundaries. And I've talked about this in the past, but I didn't have any boundaries. I would pick up the phone and burn myself to the ground and it was fine. And, it was go, go, go. And at the time, that's what we knew, but that wasn't sustainable. And there was no boundaries around that. I was able to learn that. And that was the opportunity I had to learn that growth. I didn't have any expectations. So If somebody signed up with me, we didn't have an expectation of how long is this gonna take for me to get this much money? How am I going to communicate with you? By when do you need to finish this training? We had none of that. Moving on to number 6, which is surrounding yourself with positive, supportive people, a better circle. This, I would say, was the biggest change for me. And although I do feel like my circle is smaller, I love friends. Like, I love being around people. I've always been very friendly. But I think that these past 18 months really showed me that I have to be selective. That is hard for me because I'm an oversharer. That's not for everybody. And surrounding myself with people that understand my goals and are supportive, even if they not necessarily agree with the ways that I do things, that's okay. Having that circle has been everything. And I do have to give a shout out to my husband. He's just been the very best supportive human that I feel like sometimes I forget that I have that. Number 7, self-care. That is just my non-negotiable. And that can mean a lot of things for me. I used to get my nails done. I have not found a reliable nail person, but when I was getting my nails done regularly every single month, that was my time. I can't text. So it was like no phone time. I couldn't be on my phone. I would just either put on like a favorite show or a training that I wanted to rewatch or something, self-care for my brain. No interruptions. Physical, I do have to say I am getting better being consistent in the gym. Thankfully, my husband signed up with me and I'm super excited because it's so nice to have that time. That's like my dream. I've been telling him like, please work out with me. He has a new schedule. He decided to start working out with me. I've been completely freaking dreaming about. So that is our self-care. I've been consistent every single day this week because he's been with me and I hope that this continues. So come back and see how it is, how I look in a month. You're going to see these shoulders nice and slim. Number 8 is setting realistic expectations. I feel like a lot of the times when you start complaining about somebody, how she didn't do this or he didn't do that, he didn't show up, sometimes you don't even set your expectations verbally. So your expectations are in your imagination. But when you set that realistic expectation, going back to they didn't show up example, if someone doesn't show up to your onboarding or somebody doesn't show up to your call or they don't sign up with you, give them a chance. Like the expectation is so high sometimes because you just want that sale. Give them a chance. That expectation, you need to lower it a little bit. I'm not saying lower your standards, just the expectation because life happens. You know, a lot of people don't understand entrepreneur life yet, or a lot of people don't understand how to treat others that have a business. So set the expectation for them, be open to be flexible, but also for yourself. Because honestly, I thought I was going to grow this channel to 100,000 in 6 months, like my friend Derek. And I'm like, wait, this is actually a lot of work. I don't think I could. So be gentle with yourself. Don't be so hard. Number 9, focusing on solutions. Sometimes we are just dwelling on problems and going back to the complaining. We're just dwelling on what didn't happen, how I lost my team, how my customers are canceling. Why don't we focus on solutions? And I tell my daughter this all the time. Like, okay, you spilled the milk. Let's figure out how can we fix this. You know what I mean? Like, you're not going to dwell over the spilled milk for the whole entire day. Let's figure out what we can do and how we can create a better solution. So maybe that doesn't happen again. And empathy, practicing empathy. A lot of people don't have the same circumstance as you, whether you have it harder or easier, whatever, that doesn't matter. You still need to work on empathy. I had a person that I had a very close relationship with, and I was just so angry. Like, I really didn't understand why I was being treated a certain way. I didn't understand why our relationship wasn't working. I decided to like finally let go and stop being angry, stop complaining about this person. I realized that I needed to just have empathy. This person's life for what this person went through in the past. And although I was hurt, having that empathy helped me let go and forgive and be able to have peace of mind for myself. Not only having better relationships, but even with your customers, like you'll be able to have way better relationships with them. Which brings me to my next point, which is practicing self-reflection. Self-reflection and learning from the past, which is what I'm doing a lot. I should be having a video soon talking all about the business reset. I did this earlier this year. I think that's one of the biggest reasons why I was able to just what feels like completely jump my growth. Doing that self-reflection of how 2022 was completely like I didn't even know who I was. I didn't even recognize myself, to now it's just like a complete 360. And definitely have to do with that self-reflection, because I created the life that I wanted. Going through my values, I wanted growth. I wanted peace. I wanted creativity again. I wanted to feel myself. I wanted to have influence that actually mattered, not like influence by my stuff, like influence so people can open and grow their own business legitimately, even if they never buy from me. I can have that influence. That's the type of influence that I wanted. Loyalty from my relationships. I wanted so many different things that I wanted. So I wrote that out. I used my prompts. This version is like 100.0 because I've revised it. I also self-reflected on my money because 2022 was the worst year ever. My prices, what do I want to charge? And I reflected on how are we going to get rid of this freaking debt? We had 42, if it wasn't 30, it was 40, something around that of credit card. And that was all the money that we needed to use to survive. Self-reflection. I talk about 10 things that David and I did to be able to really get us back on track financially, understanding our budget. What do we need to do? What is our money story? All of this stuff goes back to self-reflection. Number 12 is engaging in activities that bring me joy. I started making coffee dates with people, gym dates, reaching out to people, different networking events. This is just everything for me. I want to sit here and create a video every single week, and I hope that I do bring some value to you. If I do, please like this video. It definitely does let me know, like, do you really want to watch what it is that I'm saying? It brings me joy though, so I'm still gonna do it. But one other thing that definitely brings me joy is just being at my parents' house. In the past, it was always get lit or go to dinners and all of that stuff, but now I just want to be with my parents, my daughter, and taking her to grandma's house or to my husband's parents' house. Like, she loves that. Going on vacations with them, like, that's what I enjoy and definitely fulfills. I'm almost done. 13 is developing healthy coping mechanisms. You know, if you've been following for a while, how my coping mechanism was shots to blackout, right? And this year I decided to become a plant mom. Honestly, that's really helped me. I knew that I had a problem, but I'll link that one below. It's called self-accountability or something like that. It talks a little bit more about how I just realized that I had a problem. And my friend she didn't say it in a mean way at all. She was never judgy. She never pointed fingers. She was just like, maybe, you know, something's happening internally. She said it so nicely, and that is the day that I decided that I'm not gonna drink like that anymore. So now I just go into plants. I take a moment. If I don't want to do anything, I just either go outside and do my plants, take a look at them, move them around, whatever I'm gonna do, or organize. Those are my two things that I know that I like to do. So if you don't have something yet, go get a hobby. Go figure out how are you going to be coping with your stress, because it will come. How are you gonna do that? Eating, that's not gonna help. Drinking, that's not gonna help. Maybe you can just get a TikTok and express your feelings out there and go viral. Like, that could be an idea. But honestly, definitely brainstorm. Number 14, taking action. So I really do see a lot of changes coming to the online space, especially lately, depending on when you're watching this video, but there is a lot of things happening in the online space. And I'm at the point where you just need to take action. If you want to build something, if you want to make something happen, if you want to create your podcast, like, you need to just do it. I've seen so many girls go from 0 to 100, blow up with crazy amount of followers. Brands love that. Imagine what would happen if you get a collab with your most favorite account. I always think about that. I have a small channel. I have multiple small channels, and I was able to partner up with my favorite ever company. I'm not a fashion girl or a hair skin girl. My dream brand was Teachable, and I was able to partner up with them multiple times. I always think about that. Oh my God, what would happen if I grow this channel and I get a sponsorship from Teachable? Like, what? That would be my dream. But you have to take action, because some of us, I'm going to talk for myself too. Some of us are here. We're taking action way later than we said we would. We're not even doing what we need to do. We're not even posting our video. We think that's not perfect enough, not this enough, not that enough. I haven't lost this weight. I haven't, grew my hair like this, or just take the action. And I learned this from my husband this week on Monday. He decided that he was going to do something new and he went to go do it in a matter of 24 hours. And he already got leads. He has $30,000 worth of leads. So imagine if he closes half of those. Are you kidding me? And he can. But again, we need to take action. It's time to change our habits. It's time to completely change your life. Let's stop complaining about what we can't really control. It makes no sense. We definitely have to be persistent about chasing our goals, chasing our dreams, and just being and creating a fulfilled, positive, beautiful dream life. And you can do it. You can do it. I know that you can. I recently feel like I'm at that most fulfilled slash peaceful place in my life in a really long time. And not even 18 months ago, I was in like the lowest, darkest place. So if you feel that way, I promise you, you can get out of there. But take these 14 tips that you can implement. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.